Hello everyone, in this video we are going to look at a summary of a plant tissue. This is an overview video of last 2-3 lectures that we have discussed about the plant tissue and their types. Now this summary, or we also can the flowchart of plant tissue, describes that how they were classified into different types or parts. Now we already know that plant tissue consists of two types. Mainly the first one is meristematic and second one is permanent tissues. The meristematic were the actively dividing cells, that means they are only found at the growing point such as the bud of the plant or at the top of the plant. The permanent tissues that are only found at where non-dividing cells are found, that means the bark of the tree or the trunk. Now these permanent tissues are deadly, or we can also say that classified into three types. First one is protective, that means the epidermis cell, where the epidermis tissues are found for the protection of the plant. Mostly these are found at the surface of the root or stem or in the flowers, or sorry, at the leaves. Now the second part is supportive, that gives support to the plant. And the third one is complex tissue, that also called the simple permanent tissues, or mainly complex permanent tissues. We have already discussed about the simple permanent tissue. Now this one is the complex permanent tissue, or we can also say this the conducting permanent tissue. Now these conducting permanent tissues are basically for the conducting of the water molecules or the food items from one part of the plant to the another. Now these conducting or complex permanent tissues are mainly consist of more than one types of cell working together as a unit. Now these complex are divided into sub two topics. First one was xylem tissue and second one was phloem tissue. Now xylem tissues are responsible for the conduction of water in the plants, and the phloem tissue was responsible for the conduction of food in the plant. Now xylem are subdivided into four types. First one is tracheids. Tracheids are mainly long spindle shaped, that are also called the lead cells. The second one is vessels, that are responsible for the transportation. Mainly these are the tube like structure that transport water. Third one is parenchyma, and the fourth one is xylem parenchyma. They are mainly for the supportive, or mainly give support to the plant. Now the phloem that are responsible for the food transportation mainly consist of four types. First one is sieve tube, second one is companion cell, third one is phloem parenchyma, and fourth one is phloem fiber. We have already discussed about the functions of both all the four types of the phloem tissues. Now supportive tissue. Supportive tissues consist of three types. First one is parenchyma. Mainly these parenchyma tissues are found at the soft filling of the plant tissues. The second one is collenchyma tissues. These are mainly elongated thickened cells and found where the most of the thickened region, mainly where the growing parts of the plant are found. The third one is sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is mainly thickened lignified cell walls are present in at their surface. Now we are going to look about the epithelial tissues. What are these epithelial tissues, or what are their functions? First, we need to understand what does this means. The epithelial tissues are mainly, they form a barrier to keep different body system or different organ system separate. Now if we take an example of a skin, our skin have a different tissues present outside the layer, and inside the skin there is different types of tissues. Now between that there is a barrier that keeps the system, that means the organ system, separate. If we take an example of the epithelial tissues, the layer of the skin, or we can also sell the lining of the mouth. If we take another example, that means the lining of the vessels, also blood vessels. Fourth one is, if we take lung alveoli present inside the lungs. Fourth, kidney tubules, and all are made up of these epithelial tissues. Their cells present in the epithelial tissues are mainly tightly packed and forms a continuous sheet, or we can say in a continuous range. Now the fourth one says that the epithelial, or they have a small cementing material between them and almost no intercellular space present inside them. Epithelial tissues have the another special character, or if we talk about the function of these epithelial tissues, that they have non intercellular space between it. The epithelial is usually separated by underlying tissues by an extracellular tissue, that is an fibrous basement membrane. We were talking about the example of a skin, that our skin muscles or skin tissues are different from inside the skin muscles. Now these both are separated by an fibrous basement membrane. Since the epithelial covers the body and all the organs, thus these all particles enter or leaving the body and organs pass through this membrane. Now this membrane is also responsible for the transportation of substance into and outside the body. So this was about the epithelial tissues, this is an introduction of an epithelial tissue. Now in the next part of the video we are going to discuss about the types of the epithelial tissues. Till then, thanks for watching.